Welcome back, friends, to another episode of Leading Las Vegas. I'm Danielle Ford of DanielleFord.com, where visibility makes a difference, and I am here with a really wonderful, inspiring woman, Kathlyn. She has recently gone through a humongous transition in her life, and I have known Kathlyn for a long time. I have seen her grow. She is a huge name and personality in the city, and I'm just so inspired by her recent events and specifically her ability to let go of some of the really substantial things that she's worked for a long time. And I know how afraid sometimes people can be to change it up, to do something new, to lose something. And I wanted to bring Kathlyn on to speak more about that. So thank you so much for being on the show.
I'm excited to be here, Danielle. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
So you used to be the owner of a really popular magazine here in Las Vegas. It's very well known, and she was great at it. And do you want to talk a little bit more about your backstory and your?
You bet. And kind of had sort of how we met, because you're so talented. With everything you do, I needed to get your information in front of my following. Mm-hmm. So for 9 years, I had a company called Defining Women here in Las Vegas. We did branch out into other markets, but mainly we were headquartered here in Las Vegas. And out of that 9-year experience, like I want to say experience with Defining Women, grew Defining Women magazine. So we started a magazine, I believe it was back in 2002, 2013, and had a lot of fun featuring women who were taking their life on. And that was my mission with Defining Women, was to encourage women to get out there every day and do what they loved. So had a great run, decided on December 5th of last year to just say goodbye to all of that. And it was a hard letting go. It really was. And I can kind of expound on that, how I came to that decision.
I love to hear that. Yeah.
You know, we all, for the 9 years that I had Defining Women, I stood up. Sometimes I had 9 clubs running at the same time here in Las Vegas. So it may have been 18 meetings a month, you know, from the basic beginnings in 2007 to what we grew it to. I stood up every single time and encouraged women to do what they wanted. I asked them, what do you want? What do you see for your life? Envision what you want to have. So it came at a perfect time. Many of you probably went through a lot of changes in 2016 because it was a 9-year. And I don't know if you do numerology, but look into it.
I love that
because there's a lot of stuff to pick up from it. But 2016 was a 9-year. It was the year of letting go. So not only did I make a big decision to let go of my business, but on a personal note, I decided to let go of my marriage of 20 years as well. Side note, beautiful reconciliation, love the man. We'll be celebrating 22 years of marriage, you know, soon. So, but that might be a whole nother show, a whole nother show for women. But I just decided, what the point is that after telling women to let go for years and to discover what they want, I finally decided to do it for myself. Mm-hmm. Big life-changing moment was picking up a book that everybody has seen, everybody loves or reads from or quotes from, called You Were Born Rich by Bob Proctor. And although the title may sound like it's all about the money, it's not about the money. A small chapter in that book changed my life, and it talked all about us being the image maker. And again, you and I have been in this world for a long time. There's lots of motivational speakers out there, people that'll tell you, you know, imagine it, envision it, what's your why, all these things. It becomes almost so cliche that nobody's really doing it. And I'm not saying nobody is, because there's lots of people that are envisioning their success, envisioning their why. What was crazy is here I was preaching it, but I wasn't really necessarily doing it for myself. And I think a lot of women get into the business world and they just go one foot in front of the other. No joy. They feel like they have a black and white direction. Like I had a black and white direction, but I really wasn't part of my own vision. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like you see success as this thing and the journey is getting lost behind because you haven't hit there yet, but then it keeps on changing, keeps on getting higher and higher.
Exactly. Yeah. So with this image maker chapter in this book, again, that you probably have one on your bookshelf, you can blow the dust off right now and crack. I just decided to start imagining what it was I wanted for my life, and that meant my vision, my passion, and these all sound like really gross cliche words. So dig into them. And that's one of the messages that I want to really get across is dig into it. Don't just throw some Band-Aid on your passion or some Band-Aid on your vision. Spend some time really discovering, and you're going to need to let go of some stuff. I had to really let go of stuff for it to really come back so beautifully. And so don't give lip service to it anymore. And the problem I felt like I was having, that I feel like I see a lot more now than I could with different colored glasses, is I was just going. I had a black and white plan. I never really envisioned how big it could possibly be. So I had to let it all go and to start over, really.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I'm 31, and even for me, like I hear these really motivational speakers talking about, oh, you're young, if you're in your 20s, it doesn't matter what you want to do, yada, yada. And as I get older and I'm getting, the black and white plan, yada, yada, it starts to get scarier. Like, what if this doesn't work out? Like, what if I change my course? And you're a little bit older than me.
Yes.
So,
my birthday's tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
Oh, happy birthday. Happy early birthday.
Thank you. It's great to be here for my birthday.
And you're such a kindred spirit. So I wanted to ask you, like, does it get scarier when you get older? And, I know Louise Hay, didn't even get any success until she was in her 60s, right?
Yes.
So what would you tell a woman who's maybe in your situation in her 40s, 50s, 60s, and is like, man, I've put so much effort into this. I've reached this level of success, but I'm not happy with it. And she's afraid because maybe she feels like her opportunity to let go and start over has passed.
I think it's a great question, Danielle. And I think here's the deal. No matter what age you are or what generation you're in, don't stay too long at the party. Don't stay too long at the party.
Yeah.
I stayed too long at the party in my 20s.
Wow.
I stayed too long at the party in my 30s. I stayed a little too long at the party in my 40s. And now I'm in my 50s. I'm not staying at the party too long anymore.
I love that.
If something feels hard, stop it.
Or comfortable.
Yeah, or comfortable,
right? Yeah.
For that matter, or comfortable. Because one of the things I also learned from my studies, the book led me to a 26-week study in Thinking into Results with the Bob Proctor program. It sounds like a Bob Proctor commercial, but seriously, you can get all his stuff for free. Free. It's all out there.
That's great.
You can really imagine what you want. So then the 26 week after I left the business was even more intense because it really digs into what it is that you really want. So it doesn't matter what age you are. If there's some resistance in it, let it go. Relationships, jobs, entrepreneurship, whatever it might be. Each one of us are in seasons. Where each one of us, we have a season. In our 20s we have a season, our 30s we have a season. We have these seasons and I do this because it's like it ebbs and flows, and if we allow it to ebb and flow, and trust me, I didn't. I was in resistance. I wanted to hold on to. I was supposed to hold on to that relationship, or I was supposed to hold on to that job, or I was supposed to hold on to this idea. And the sooner we let go, oh my gosh, the more it comes in. And I guess what I wanted to say from one of the things that I learned was we're either in creation mode or disintegration mode.
Oh my God, boom.
So there you are, right?
Yeah.
We're either in creation mode or disintegration mode. And again, that comes from my studies. Where you say comfort, you're comfortable, possibly you're in disintegration mode.
Yeah.
If things are no longer exciting you, or you're doing things because you're supposed to, or I need to have an event because I really should get these people together, or I really should start a new this, or I really should, now F that.
Yeah.
It's time to just stop that and take a step back. And you really can get clarity. And then once we have a little bit of clarity, you don't have to have all the answers. There's another thing, allowing versus howing. Allowing versus howing. Instead of if all we have is A through B or A through Z steps of how something's done, we could do that all day long.
Right.
We could both be very successful. But frankly, I find that when we're doing A through Z steps, we're half-assing it because we're all good at just following the steps. But what is the big thing you want to accomplish? And it's so important to take a step back. It's been 9 months, well, almost a full year, but pretty much 9 months for me since a year since I said goodbye to my marriage. Wow. And once I made the decision to let it go, it reinvented itself beautifully. Oh my gosh, fantastic, right? Almost 12 months since I let the business go, and I'm just taking some time.
Yeah.
But what I do see, it's great to step back for a minute, because then you can see the grind and the hustle. And you're like, oh my God, I was in that flow. And look, we all need to pay our light bills, right? We need to pay, right? But when it becomes a chore to do that, when it becomes something you have to do, it's time to step back and let go.
I love that. Thank you for sharing
You're
that.
welcome.
I know that you are still in transition and you have a lot of cool things cooking.
Yes. Fun things for me. And
another thing about you is that you've always, even in your businesses, you've always put people up before yourself. And that's just noticeable across the board. And when I think about you and whatever happens to you in the future and what you decide to do, it's going to be easy because you have this huge support system of people that you have helped along the way and have inspired. So can you give us a sneak peek of maybe some things you have coming out?
A few things. And one of the things, Danielle, thank you so much for your compliment. And I also want everyone to know that it took a minute for me to get here.
Yeah.
I remember my 20s and 30s. I didn't care about people. I left carnage in the road. I really was not a nice person.
Wow.
So it took some time for me to realize, what kind of a woman do I really want to be? And and that's evolving every day. I'm defining myself every single day because I want to be generous. I want to be kind. I want to connect with people, and I want to have my own stand. You know, the environment these days is extremely polarizing, and you can take a stand with this faction or that faction, but what's your stand?
Yeah.
We don't have to jump on all these stands. We don't have to make anybody else wrong, but we can have our own stand.
Absolutely.
Right? So so what I have going on, one of the things, because this conversation has been so polarizing, specifically to women, and I have a lot of experience with women, is I'm writing a book called The War on Women from Within. The War on Women from Within.
Take my money.
Yeah.
Take my money.
I can't wait because, boy, we have been, well, I don't want to get too controversial, and we're kind of, you know, we're winding our time together down, but I'd love to come back and talk a little bit about that and how I came to this concept. And I feel like my own stand, it doesn't align necessarily with anything or anybody. It's my own stand for women.
I cannot wait to hear about that. If you guys want Kathlyn to come back on when her book is ready and really dive into the topic of the war on women, or
War on Women from Within.
I totally get that. I totally resonate with that. So leave a comment and make sure you follow Kathlyn. Her info is below here. But I would love to have a whole episode about that specifically.
I'd love to come back when that's ready to go.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this. You are so inspiring.
Thank you for allowing me to come. I've enjoyed myself, and I'll come back anytime. And I love talking with you, and congratulations on all your success and your great show.
Oh, thank you so much. You guys, this has been another episode of Leading Las Vegas. This is my wonderful guest, Kathlyn, and we will see you in another episode very soon. Bye, guys. If you loved this episode of Leading Las Vegas, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. You can also watch more episodes like this here or on leadinglasvegas.com.